welcome back to Muscle Rod Shop. We're gonna call this series Pucker Up and Get Her Done. Got a lot to do in a very little time. I want to give a shout out, actually, really quick. Check this out. We got a brand new 8-foot by 8-foot welding blanket. You remember that crappy blanket that was up here that was like tearing apart? Actually, it's sitting right over there. It is now retired because we got a new one. I wanted to give a shout out to Andy Kocher. I hope I said that right, Kocher. He says, hey Brandon, thought you and your amazing team could really use this big guy. Keep up the great work, best wishes, enjoy your gift, from Andy. Andy, thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. We're definitely gonna put this to use. I mean, this thing's gonna be used a lot. And we don't have to itch anymore. This fiberglass stuff goes everywhere, but with a brand new blanket, it won't. Get yours today. Today we're gonna be doing, let me turn this damn welder off since Tony's not even in here working right now, thank you. We're gonna be making these today, okay? So these are motor mounts. Actually the bracketry for the motor mount. So obviously this one's already done. This is, let's say 3/16 steel. It's the same bracket that you saw on the other video, the previous one, of these being cut out. Is this your flat sheet of metal? And this is that piece. And then just added that other piece on. Well, the reason for this 90 that's on here is just to give it your strength front and back. It doesn't do anything for up and down. Your up and down is that plate itself. That gives you the strength of the up and down movement, the weight of the motor, and the motor's pulling down on it. So as far as front to back, yeah, it probably can't go front to back because it's stuck on the transmission mount back there, but and plus it's a giant diesel motor, so I just like that added protection in there, you know, just to make damn sure that this thing is not going anywhere at all, ever. So you're not gonna go and bend this. And it looks 100 times better when it's sitting in there. And then we also need to make a cross member, which is gonna come off of the motor mounts and dip underneath the oil pan and back up. So once we get the motor mounts built for this thing, that'll allow us to lift the transmission up and down and know that the motor isn't gonna go forward or back or side to side or anything, so the motor is where it is and it's all set in place.
I don't think so.
Shut up, Tony. Then the
Brandon. Don't talk about it, be about it. Get to work.
Nobody wants to hear your bullshit, Brandon. Put the camera out.
What'd you say? Anyways, as I was saying, transmission mount, and then after the transmission mount, then we do transfer case mount whenever that shows up. Who knows? Don't know, but we're gonna get into it now. All right, so first things first on this, we got our piece that's cut out. I'm gonna put it right down in here. Here's the hole that we're trying to go for. We're trying to get the center of that on here. Take a marker. Marker just so happens to fit the dent just about perfect in that hole. Here it's coming through. That's perfect right there. And I want this to be almost flush with the top, and then we'll mark it. So I'm gonna drill this hole and I'm gonna use the punch. So this will give me the center. So we wanna go there, right in the middle of that thing. Gets me right there. Perfect. Now we can drill. Finally have our two identical plates with the hole straight in the middle. Now that we got that, we can go ahead and bring it right over here. And we can put our strap around the edge, which are these nasty raw pieces that I cut out. And they're gonna go right about here. Watch your eyes, there's some welding going on here. So now we're gonna come back and weld in between these. Our weld now is gonna be so hot that it's just gonna melt right through our tack welds, and they'll blend in just fine. And you see, these need to look good because these are gonna stay. These welds aren't going anywhere. But that's all that's going right there. Then I'll put another one up in here, and I'll put another one here. Look how hot that is. On the inside. And then we'll go put one more. Oh, weld number 3. Hot, hot, hot. But this thing's good to go. Now all this nasty edge here, we're gonna grind down flat and roll over. This edge, you're gonna see, I'm gonna grind all this flat first, then come back and grind the sides, then come back and put a 45-degree bevel on it, and then DA it, and this thing will be done, good to go. All right, so you can see now that that whole area is flat. It's kind of rounded off a little bit here on the top edge because there's no, I don't want any sharp edges. And that is pretty much so the guys, when they're body working anything, they're sanding anything, they don't get all cut up. You know, I don't want them all cut. All right, so now I have 45. See how nice it looks? A whole lot better. So now that that's done, what I'm gonna do is take this thing and DA it with the sand, the orbital, the DA sandpaper. This guy, one of my best friends, actually. It makes things look so good. There is your finished piece. So on this side, you can see the brackets are in. I welded one side on, and it's mainly welded on top, and then a couple welds on bottom. But the reason why I put this side in is so that I can tilt the motor up and down to get it level. You need to level it first. Right now, it's leveled, okay? It's at 0 degrees. And I'm using the valve cover, and the valve cover is sitting straight on the head. So we know that's all leveled out, it's good to go. So the frame's leveled out, and the motor has an angle to it. You see that angle? That angle is at 4.5 degrees. So my truck outside, I got a second gen Dodge 24 valve. That thing's sitting at 5 degrees. Level frame, 5 degrees tilt on the motor itself. This one I put at 4.5. And there's a lot that goes into play with all that pinion angle and all that crap. So we're not gonna get into that. But as far as this goes, you wanna angle it first, get the front of the motor sitting where it's gonna sit, put the back of the transmission where it's gonna sit, and then put one motor mount in on the other side so that we can tilt the motor up and down on this side, getting it level. Once it's level, then we're gonna come under here and find the output shaft of the transmission and make sure it's centered between the frame rails. So right now, I pushed this over this way because it was off a little bit, which you gotta do first because that's gonna pull that front motor mount back. So if that was already welded up and then I came back here and measured and it was off, I couldn't move it side to side because the motor mount needs to slide. So you start out with one mount, come check this. If it's good to go, then you weld that side. So now this side's ready to go. I have the brackets in. This side's good to go. It's welded in, and our tilt is good. It's sitting at 4.5 degrees back, and our level here is good. We're at 0 degrees, and I've measured the center crank bolt, and that is sitting even side to side in the frame. So now we know our motor is exactly centered. It's exactly where it needs to be. It's got the right tilt, right pitch. Everything is good to go. And now there shouldn't be any problem whatsoever putting the motor in and out, getting it in and out, all that kind of stuff. We should be good. After those motor mounts are welded in completely, then we can go and lift the transmission up and down as much as we need to get that transmission bracket built. I did have one comment about running no vacuum for the brakes. And just to let you guys know, this is a hydro boost system. So it actually runs off of the power steering fluid, okay? So there's two lines that come from this brake system, and it runs down and around to the power steering. I will show you right now, just in case anyone's curious. Oh, look, we got the fenders on. Yeah, really cool looking color. And then it just goes into yellow, and then it's got a pearl black pinstripe, maybe a little bit of silver in there. Either way, this is called a hydro boost system, okay? This system here, like I said, you can see all those lines underneath coming off this thing. All that stuff down there, that is all for power steering fluid. So those lines run all the way around to the power steering box, and it draws fluid from there and uses that to run the brakes. The good part about this is, and these are used on, you know, diesels and all that stuff because they don't have vacuum in the motors. These motors create vacuum, so you can actually use the engine to run your booster. But in this case, you don't need a booster anymore, so it all goes away. That big brake system is gonna go right here. It probably comes about out to here. And just like that, they're in. They are in. We have motor mounts. Oh yeah. Yep, there's the hat. So this is actually the next day, but I'm gonna go ahead and insert it into this video just because I've already made the whole video. And I wanna show you something. This bracket right here, this was my job for today, is I'm gonna explain this piece right quick. Normally when I'm doing motor mounts on extremely heavy motors like this, or the big Hemis, the safe way to do it is this strap here. Another reason for it is to bring it up and over the top of the frame. And that way, motor pushing down, it's not trying to rip off the side right here because it's got a strap on the top of it. So it's trying to pull at the same time as it's trying to come down. This motor is 1,200 pounds, just to give you an idea. So what we're gonna do is make a strap, but we're gonna make one that looks really cool. And it goes something like that. But let's keep it on. So it'll just do that, plug welds all the way across the top, and it'll have a plate on there. That way, it's welded here, and it's welded onto the frame itself, and it would have to start pulling this, just in case, you know, Matt decided to jump 50 feet in the air with this thing. When he comes back down, and everything's breaking and just blowing apart, and he's going through the floor and all that good stuff, motor's not coming out, nor is the transmission. So at least we can save the motor. Since these are plug welds, they're gonna get completely filled up and ground flat. I don't wanna weld around the edge here because I want it to look nice. You see it's got a beveled edge on it, so it'll look real nice when it's sitting on the frame. I want that edge to show because, you know, it's just a little bit of detail. Look at that. That's a nice strap that just holds on to this other strap. Looks good. Yeah, looks good. That's gonna hold real tight. We got Ben over here. What's up, man? What's up? Grinding down the surface here. We're gonna clean up this rust and get it all nice and prepped, and then put this side on. All right, carry on. Man, he's good. God, look at that.